Hey guys, so today I'm going to present you how to install and configure your BigPump bot. So to do that, of course, you have to buy it, and what will happen after you bought it is that we will send you a link to this repository, and this repository contains all the different versions that we released, or at least the latest ones. So the first thing that you need to do is to download the zip file and put it somewhere in your local computer. Then you need to download these two other files. So this is for Python and maybe some dependencies on C++, depending on the environment. And then you go to, so once you unzipped it, you go there. And what we ask you to do is to read the README file, so which is the documentation. I have it already open here. And to follow the instructions. It's very important to do that to avoid any issues during execution. So first thing to do is to set up your environment. So again, first thing to install is Python. Here what we ask you to do is to install Python 3. The script is not working with Python 2, and also you should not have a Python version above 3.7.9 because some of the dependencies are not working with the latest versions. So again, so you have the version already available in the repo, but this is only for Windows. If you are using some other platform, it's okay, just go online, and that could be that should be straightforward to find. So you install the Python. I'm not going to do it. Then you open your command line and you follow the instructions. So you will have to run this pip install Python Binance, paste, execute, and that's it. It's where you might get an error message if you, because maybe some Visual Studio dependencies are required. That's why we put it there. Just download it, install it, run it again, and it should be working fine. Once you did that, so your environment should be ready to use. So you need now to configure Binance. So go to your Binance account. You have a section for APIs, and from there you need to generate some keys. The keys will need to be placed in some parameter files. I will show you later. The second thing, which is extremely important to configure, is the way that Binance will pay for the fees. So we ask you to activate this use BNB to pay for fees. First, because you get a discount for it, and second, because that's how the script is working. So you need to activate this. It means that for each transaction, the fee will be reduced from your BNB balance. And of course, you need to make sure you have some credit on it. So you don't need so much because the Binance fees are quite low, but you still need to make sure that you have sufficient a sufficient balance on it. And once you did that, you're all set. And now you need to validate that everything is working fine. And to do this, we ask you to follow a three-step approach. The first is to test it in debug mode, then to run it in production, but with some really low amount, and then you are good to go. So to configure your parameters, you can create different files, and this file will contain the configuration that you want to run. Here I copied them because they normally have contains the API keys, and I don't want to show it to you, so I will show you the version without it, and I will walk you through the parameters. Okay, so here the first parameter is this debug mode. It tells if you should be using the production API or the sandbox from Binance. So if you put one, the others will not be executed. I mean, they will be sent to Binance, but on a sandbox, so not production. So make sure that in debug you are using one here. The second is important is the change trigger parameter. So you probably remember that to be more efficient, to beat the competition, so the script will scan the prices and will detect the pump based on variation in the price. So you will run the bot a few seconds before the pump is scheduled, and then the bot will start to look at the prices, and the bot will check for variations above this number. So if you're in production, you will put a higher number. Here we're in debug mode, we want to test it, we put a low one. So it says that basically if you have a token which increases by more than this value, then we assume that this is the token to be pumped. The next one is the symbol trade. It's like the pair that you are using against. So most of the pump are using BTC, so leave it as it is. And the next one is trade percentage. It tells you, so to calculate the quantity that needs to be bought and sold, it will be looking at how much balance you have for this symbol, so in that case BTC, and will derivate the quantity to be bought and sold. And it's of course based on the trade percentage that you want to use. Maybe you have like for $2,000 of BTC, maybe you don't want to use all of it for the pump. So what we ask you is anyway never to put more than 70%, because the price changes so quickly that when we calculate the quantity, it might be that it goes above this, or it could even go above like your how much balance you have. So maximum 70 here. Then the target increase sell is basically to determine at which price we are going to sell the token. So we buy it at market price, and then we are going to try to make a profit. So here it's like the value that will be used to determine the price. But this is based on the calculation option you select below. So you have two options. First, you can use this bot price based, meaning that the bot will buy a token, look at which price we bought it, and apply this target increase, this target gain on top of it. So if let's say you bought it for 10 and you apply 6, it will buy it to 10.6. If you use the other parameter, it's all documented now. If you use initial price base, it will not base it on the price that you bought it, but on the initial price before the pump. So this is much safer, meaning that before the pump it was at 5, and then you bought it at 10. It will apply this 6% on 5, which is lower. So it's safer, but you have a risk that depending on the parameter, so we have like a protection mechanism. It will check before even we buy it. It will check the price, and if the price the current price is higher than the initial price multiplied by the target gain, it will abort to make sure that you don't buy it at a higher price than the price that you would like to sell it for. So you have these two options. You have actually a third option. If you put 0 here, it will be doing a sell order at market value. So if let's say the price is going so fast these days, like the pump are so powerful that you don't care of a target gain, you just want to basically buy it at market value and sell it at market value a few seconds after. Actually, it's 1 second after. So in that case, you put 0 and it will just buy at market value and sell at market value 1 second later. And we assume that the price will have increased in between. It's maybe a smart strategy right now. The next one is this panic sell variation. So it's another safety mechanism. So if you buy it at, let's say, 100, it will tell you if it goes 15% lower, we will cancel the order, the sell order, and we will sell everything at market value to make sure that you don't lose too much. Give up time. This is like, so once you bought, we create a sell order at a specific price, and we hope that this order will be executed, somebody will buy it. But we don't want to wait too long, so you can specify here for how long you want to wait till the order is executed. So after 10 seconds, in that case, if the order is not executed, then we will cancel the order and we will sell everything at market value. It's a kind of another security mechanism. The next one is this max iteration change trigger. So remember that the script will start to scan prices and will detect variations. So normally it starts a few seconds before the pump if you specify a date, and here you can specify for how long you want to scan. So you don't want to scan forever, because if let's say after 60 seconds you haven't detected like your pump, there is a major problem, because the pumps are usually on time. So here we put 60, but for like production usually you would put much less. You can have a look in the production config file. And then again, so the execution start date and time is that at which when you want the bot to start scanning the prices. So how we normally do it for pumps is we run the script, let's say 20 minutes or 15 minutes before the time of the pump, and here we specify like the time of the pump minus a few seconds. So I usually put 5 seconds before the pump. So it means that everything is ready, and the bot will be waiting for this time before it starts to scan, and it will do this for maximum 60 seconds. And there is like the key for the APIs and the secret key. This is what you will get from Binance. And once you set it up, you are pretty much all set. You can do the same for production and for production testing. So I distinguish the two, because in production testing I want to have really low percentages just to make sure that everything is working fine in production. I ask you to do it because if you use production parameters directly, maybe you have a chance that something is not properly configured, and then some of your orders will not pass. Once you did it, you open again your command line, and you just have to type Python binancerobot.py, and then the name of the config file you want to use, and then you just run it. So it's loading the rules. We see which parameter you chose. And that's it. So if we have a look at what happened, so we detected a variation, we checked it, we believe it's a pump, so pump was detected. Quite a large variation, actually 7%. Then the buy order was made. Again, we're in debug, we're in testing mode, so it was not a real order here. And then we sold it. We sold it at a specific price. We monitored the sale. It was filled, of course, because we're in testing mode. And then we see the summary. I could have done the same with any other file. If you want to know more, we ask you to go on this documentation page. You have an explanation of each setting, and you have actually a lot more options that you can activate. I'm not going to go through all of them, but it's all documented there. And yeah, we ask you also to check here and make sure that you have the latest version, and that's it. If you want to check the logs, you have them here. You can see exactly what happened. So you have more details than if you were looking at the terminal. And that's it. So thanks for watching, and we wish you a lot of success.